Welcome to my channel, where your adventure into the future starts right now. Step into a vibrant universe filled with groundbreaking technology, breathtaking alien landscapes, and exhilarating sci-fi narratives that challenge your imagination. From daring explorations of distant galaxies to haunting journeys through dystopian societies, we uncover the most captivating stories and innovative ideas that will shape the world of tomorrow. Subscribe today and join us on an incredible intergalactic voyage that promises to inspire and thrill. In the vast and sprawling expanse of the universe, humanity had long dreamed of exploring the stars, of venturing beyond the confines of Earth to reach distant planets and encounter new worlds. Yet, it was not exploration alone that defined humanity's destiny in the cosmos. As humans spread across the galaxy, they also carried with them the full spectrum of their biological legacy, including the microscopic and often unseen forces that could both sustain and threaten life. Viruses, the silent, invisible agents of disease, had been a persistent challenge on Earth, but when the first case of an unknown infection was reported on a distant colony, it was quickly apparent that humanity was about to face a new and far more dangerous chapter in its history. This new threat was unlike anything Earth had encountered before. The virus spread rapidly across the interconnected worlds of the human diaspora, carried by interstellar trade, migration, and travel. It wasn't limited to any one species or environment but seemed to affect all forms of life in its path, from the oxygen-breathing humans on terraformed planets to the native organisms of distant worlds. No one knew where it had originated, whether it was a naturally occurring phenomenon or something far more insidious, a weapon, perhaps, or an accident born from the reckless experimentation of some alien civilization. What was certain, however, was that the virus was catastrophic. The initial symptoms of the infection were deceptively benign fatigue, mild fever, and a cough that spread quickly among people who lived in tight quarters on starships, space stations, and colony worlds. But within days, the virus mutated, and its effects grew far more severe. The infected began experiencing neurological degradation, with memory loss, cognitive decline, and, eventually, a complete breakdown of motor functions. It was as if the virus didn't just attack the body, but also the mind. In some cases, the infected would regress into a state of catatonia, unable to communicate or perform basic functions, while others exhibited violent, erratic behavior. Within months, the virus had spread from one colony to the next, creating a sense of panic that swept through the human population. Governments scrambled to understand the nature of the pathogen, but each attempt to isolate it met with failure. Researchers and scientists from across the galaxy worked tirelessly, but the virus had an uncanny ability to adapt, to evolve in response to each new treatment or attempt at a cure. What made the situation even more dire was the sheer scale of the infection. Once it spread to one world, it could jump to others via trade routes, civilian ships, and the continuous flow of people between colonies. The virus was not a localized threat, but a galaxy-wide catastrophe in the making. As time passed, humanity's ability to respond seemed to diminish. Medical supplies ran low, hospitals were overwhelmed, and the quarantine measures that had been hastily implemented began to show their own flaws. Whole colonies were placed under isolation, cut off from the rest of the galaxy, but that only delayed the inevitable. The more virulent strains of the virus found ways to spread even through the most secure environments. The fact that no effective treatment had emerged led many to fear that they were on the cusp of a galactic-scale extinction event. It wasn't just the lives of billions that were at stake, it was the very future of humanity in the stars. Desperation brought humanity to its most urgent moment of reckoning. A call went out to the brightest minds in every corner of the galaxy, the best medical researchers, virologists, biotechnologists, and genetic engineers. The United Earth Government, UEG, along with the leaders of the various human colonies, poured all their resources into combating this existential threat. Space agencies, medical organizations, and scientific communities began working in unprecedented collaboration. What had once been a race for power, wealth, and control across the stars had now become a race for survival. For months, progress was slow. The virus, with its ability to mutate rapidly, outpaced the development of any meaningful vaccine. It was clear that traditional methods of combating infectious diseases, such as antiviral drugs and quarantine protocols, were insufficient against a threat so adaptable. The only possible solution seemed to lie in cutting-edge biotechnology and creating a vaccine capable of protecting the human population from the virus's various mutations and strains. The breakthrough came when a team of researchers led by Dr. Elena Vasquez, a leading virologist, proposed a radical approach. Drawing inspiration from the growing field of gene editing and synthetic biology, she suggested that the virus was not just attacking humans directly but interacting with the genetic makeup of its host in subtle ways. By mapping the virus's genome, her team hoped to identify key factors that allowed the virus to evade immune responses. The human immune system, while sophisticated, had never encountered a virus with the kind of adaptability and resilience seen in this new pathogen. If they could decipher its genetic code and identify the virus's weak points, they might be able to create a vaccine that would prime the immune system to respond more effectively no matter how the virus mutated. It was an audacious plan, and many within the scientific community were skeptical. Some thought that humanity's best hope lay in isolating the virus and focusing solely on quarantine measures. Others argued for a more radical solution, genetically engineered organisms that could counter the virus directly. Yet Dr. Vasquez's proposal was the one that gained traction. She and her team worked tirelessly, using advanced artificial intelligence and quantum computing systems to map the virus's mutational patterns. They began to see the first glimmer of hope when they identified a series of protein markers that appeared to remain consistent across multiple strains of the virus. With this discovery, the team moved into the next phase of their work, vaccine development. It was clear that a one-size-fits-all solution wouldn't be possible. The vaccine would need to be flexible, capable of evolving alongside the virus, and able to work with diverse human genetics. A traditional vaccine, one based on weakened or dead virus strains, wouldn't suffice. The team would need to create a platform that could rapidly adapt to the virus's ever-changing genome. The solution they developed was nothing short of revolutionary. It involved a hybrid approach that combined mRNA technology with synthetic biology. The mRNA would instruct cells in the human body to produce specific proteins that could train the immune system to recognize and destroy the virus, no matter its strain. To further improve the vaccine's effectiveness, the team developed a dynamic delivery system using nanotechnology, ensuring that the vaccine could be administered quickly and efficiently across a wide variety of environments, from the high-tech medical facilities of the core worlds to the makeshift clinics on distant, resource-poor colonies. Testing the vaccine was a difficult process. Due to the virus's unpredictable mutations, clinical trials had to be accelerated, and many of the first attempts resulted in setbacks. Yet, slowly but surely, the vaccine began to show promise. Early trials indicated that the vaccine was effective in preventing infection and, in some cases, even reversing the progression of the disease in those already infected. It was not a perfect solution, but it was the best humanity had. With global collaboration and a unified effort, production of the vaccine ramped up. The once fractured human political landscape came together in an unprecedented show of unity, recognizing that survival depended on working together, not apart. The distribution of the vaccine was a monumental challenge in itself. With entire star systems facing quarantine and travel restrictions, logistics were a nightmare. Transporting doses of the vaccine to remote colonies took months, and the political tensions between different human factions threatened to derail efforts. Some colonies, particularly those with limited access to medical supplies, were skeptical of the vaccine's effectiveness, fearing that it was a mere propaganda tool of the central governments. But slowly, as the first doses began to show visible results, faith in the vaccine spread. In the end, humanity was able to deploy a vaccine across the galaxy, and the tide began to turn. Though pockets of resistance remained, the worst of the pandemic was over. The galaxy-wide virus was not defeated entirely, but it was no longer the apocalyptic threat it had once been. Instead, it had become manageable, a disease that could be fought with the collective effort of all humankind. The human race had faced extinction and emerged victorious, not through might or dominance, but through collaboration, innovation, and an unwavering commitment to the survival of their species. This moment marked a turning point in the history of humanity. Not only had they developed the first vaccine capable of tackling a galaxy-wide virus, but they had learned to work together on a scale that had once seemed impossible. The crisis had revealed both the fragility and the resilience of humanity, and as they looked to the stars once again, they did so with a renewed sense of purpose, one forged in the fires of a universal struggle and tempered by the shared experience of survival. The vaccine became a symbol, not just of scientific achievement, but of the unbreakable will of humanity to adapt and overcome. It represented a future in which humanity could face the unknown dangers of the cosmos, armed with the knowledge that no virus, no matter how devastating, could ever again bring them to the brink of extinction.